What's up, y'all? This is Marcus Sniffles, NFL expert and Colts fan, here with another video. So the schedule just came out for the 2024 season for the Colts, and I'm gonna do what all content creators are doing right now, and that's going over the schedule, kind of what it looks like, what it tells me, what to expect. But before we get into that, if you could please like and subscribe to the channel. Really helps me out a lot. It takes 2 seconds to do it, so just like the video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. I will love you for the rest of your life. So with that being said, before we get into the schedule, I kind of want to go over a little bit of what happened last year. So for the most part, if you have a good quarterback, that quarterback is worth 2 to 3 wins on your entire roster. And if you go back to last season, the 2023 season, Anthony Richardson did not start a lot of games. He started, I think, maybe three or 4 games. He didn't finish a lot of games. He missed a lot of games last year due to injury. And Gardner Minshew stepped in and started 13 games. In the 13 games that Gardner Minshew started, the Colts won 7 of those games. Now, if you go back and look through the little glimpses that we saw out of Anthony Richardson, and you go back and watch and see how bad Gardner Minshew was and how many deep throws he just refused to make, and some of the, I don't want to say boneheaded because it feels mean, but he kind of had some boneheaded plays out there. Now, if you replace that with the AR we saw in the second half of that Rams game from last year, do you think that he is worth 2 to 3 wins above that 7? So going from a 7-win team to maybe a 9 to 10-win team. And then you got to also include that this is Anthony Richardson's second year in Steichen's system. He's going to start the season with a healthy Jonathan Taylor. He's been given another explosive weapon with A.D. Mitchell. And I'm assuming that one of the tight ends that we have on our roster is going to step up and be a reliable target. And Josh Downs is going into his second season. And I thought he was one of the better rookie receivers, especially playing out of the slot. So when it comes to breaking down the schedule, I tend to break it down into 4 quarters. So breaking down the schedule in the, four games, 4 times. Well, the last quarter is going to be 5 games because they added a game. Going over the first quarter of the season, we're hosting the Texans, which is a rematch of the essential playoff game that we had last year. We're at Green Bay, hosting the Bears, and hosting the Steelers. And I believe the Texans game is going to be pretty much going to be a playoff game. And I feel like that is a game the Colts should win and be favored to win. The Texans barely beat us with Gardner Minshew. You know what I'm saying? Like, you think about how we played the Texans when Anthony Richardson played that first game. We were up by like 17-0 at that point with Anthony Richardson. And they had a hard time beating Gardner Minshew. Now, in my opinion, I feel like everything that was said about the Texans last year, all the preseason hype they're getting coming into this year, all the hype that C.J. Stroud is getting, and well-deserved. C.J. Stroud is a great quarterback. I enjoy watching him. I think the Colts, Anthony Richardson, and Shane Steichen will be getting that same type of preseason hype had AR played the entire season. So I kind of think that the Colts are going to surprise some people coming into this season. So I'm a big believer in the Packers. I think Jordan Love is actually one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. And we got the Bears, and I think we get the Bears at a good time because they do have a rookie quarterback playing, but it's going to be his 3rd game of the season. So he still might have a few rookie growing pains here and there. And I have zero faith in the Steelers as far as what they're doing at quarterback. I think Mike Tomlin is a great coach, and I think his greatness as a coach has hampered his ability to get an actual quarterback in there because they never lose. They never have a losing season, so they're never in position to get a new quarterback. So I think the first quarter of the season for the Colts will be a fairly, outside of week 1, I think it'll be a fairly, I don't want to say easy because there's no easy games in the NFL, but I feel like it'll be a fairly easy first quarter. Like, I don't think there's only really 1.5 tough games, I think, in that quarter. The second quarter of the season, I think this is the biggest stretch of the season for the Colts coming into 2024. We are at the Jaguars, at the Titans, hosting Miami, and at Houston again. That's 3 divisional games in a 4-week span, and 3 of them are on, or all of them are on the road. So like this is gonna be the most important stretch of the season based on having those divisional matchups, going up against the Will Levises and the Trevor Lawrences and CJ Stroud again, and Miami. Say what you want about Tua, a lot of people aren't really sure if Tua is a lead or not. That was still one of the highest scoring offenses in the NFL last year. So that second quarter of the season is going to be massive for the Colts, and I think that'll kind of make or break the season. The third quarter, we are at Minnesota, hosting Buffalo, at the Jets, and hosting the Lions. I think this little stretch is kind of in the middle. There's a few tough games here and there, and I think there's at least one easy one. I don't want to say easy, but I keep not wanting to say it, but it is what it is. And then the last quarter, the fourth quarter of the season, at New England, and then we have a bye week, a very late bye week, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. I know I'm not a fan of having an early bye week. I would prefer it to be in the middle of the season, but this is damn near at the end of the season. So after we're in New England, we get a bye week at Denver, hosting the Titans, at New York Giants, and then hosting the Jaguars for the final game, which will probably determine who wins the AFC South. Now, I look at this entire schedule, and there's a few things that I kind of look for in determining, predicting, if you will, if the Colts will come out on top and win some of these games. One of the things I look at is how many elite quarterbacks are on the schedule, like elite, like top of the top, cream of the crop, the best of the best. Like, no one is trading anybody for this quarterback. And for my money, CJ Stroud is an elite quarterback. Josh Allen is an elite quarterback. And Jordan Love is an elite quarterback. Now, there's a few maybes on there. Like, I feel like, Trevor Lawrence, I'm still not sold on him being, the best prospect since Andrew Luck. Caleb Williams, I think he's going to be a really good quarterback by the time the season is over. But by the time we see him, I still think he's going to be going through some rookie struggling growing pains. And the main thing that I get from the schedule is I feel like the Colts defense is going to have to show that they're for real. Like the cornerbacks, like Juju Brents, Dallas Flowers, Kenny Moore, using a top 15 pick on a pass rusher, picking up Kwity Paye's 5th-year option. Like, this schedule is made for a good defense to turn into a great defense because there's not a lot of great offenses on the schedule. If anything, there's a lot of bad offenses on the schedule. Like, I'm not sold on Will Levis, and that's 2 games right there. The New England Patriots are probably going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL as far as offense goes. Same with the Denver Broncos, the Giants, and the Steelers, in my opinion. So I don't see a lot of games where the Colts are going to have to go out there and put up 30 points on offense. I feel like if the defense can play great and hold teams to 17 points for the most part on average, I think this Colts team could go 12-5. And so that's going to be my official prediction. So if you can make sure you like and subscribe to the video, to the channel, like the video, all that good stuff. I'm going to go through all the games that I think the Colts are going to win and lose to get to this 12-5 record. So the first quarter, I got us beating the Texans, losing to the Packers, beating the Bears and the Steelers. I think that the curse of Jacksonville still lives on. I don't think we're going to beat the Jags in Jacksonville. I don't know what's going down there, but we just can't seem to get a W. We're going to beat the Titans. We're going to lose to the Dolphins, lose to the Texans in Houston, beat the Vikings because I don't believe in any of their quarterbacks. We're going to lose to Buffalo, beat the Jets because I do not think Aaron Rodgers is good anymore. I think he's cooked. I think he's washed. I think we beat the Lions because I think the same thing about Jared Goff. I think, he's not as good as that $120 million guarantee they just gave him. And then I think we end the season on a 5-game winning streak, beating the Patriots, beating the Broncos, beating the Titans, beating the Giants, and beating the Jaguars to clinch the AFC South and make the playoffs for the first time in a very long time. So I'm very excited for this Colts season. I haven't been this excited for a Colts season since the year Andrew Luck won Comeback Player of the Year. I think it was Frank Wright's first year with Andrew Luck. So I'm a firm believer in Anthony Richardson. I believe at the end of the season, he is going to be cemented as a top 10 quarterback. He will supplant CJ Stroud as the best quarterback in the division. And the Colts will win the division this year and be in the playoffs. And there's going to be an asterisk, as always. You know, this is health dependent. Obviously, if everybody stays healthy for the most part, I don't see why the Colts can't go 12-5. So let me know in the comments if you think I'm kind of being a little too generous, or I'm not being generous enough, and what you think the Colts record will be, and if we make the playoffs this year. So this is Marcus Sniffles. I appreciate you guys for watching this long. Make sure you like and subscribe the video. Appreciate it. See you next time.